Here I am. It's Leon C., aka Morpheus. I have received about 4 or 5 different emails from, I won't call them religious because I don't label anyone, but I would say from several individuals who was having a very unique question about the crossroads, meaning there are people who say that they have met Christ at a certain point in their life. And there are some people who have left the religion because there have been an awakening or something that brought them to reality. Okay. One of these people were a minister of 10 years, and he said he came to the light. Okay. And they all wanted me to respond to their email, so I'm going to put them all into one and respond to it in kind. Before we get started, grab my red pill, and I'm going to deliver the red pill to you. There you go. All right. I already took my red pill, so I'm ready to go. There are several types of people that are at their crossroads, but I'm going to tell you what the crossroads is. It's not death. In some cultures, it might be considered as death. But here in America, we don't usually call the crossroads death, depending on what religion or thought pattern you have of life and death. But for Morpheus, as y'all call me, because I'm going to put a twist on it, and I'm going to bring you to a higher realm of reality. Okay? It is when you are transforming, when you are evolving, when you are rising up to be the individual that your God, your Allmaker, have intended you to be. Okay? As you are at that road, you will never get there. Never, never. You won't get there by someone preaching to you. You don't get there by someone, no one can bring you to the crossroads by your neck or otherwise. The crossroads is when you're tired of struggling in your life. The crossroads is when you are tired of following this certain religion and your prayers aren't being answered and you're curious about that. Most people being curious about the rapture not being here, and gesture not splitting the sky, and their grandparents and their grandmas and their mom has been in it for decades, and they have passed away and been gone, and still Christ is not here yet. Okay? The crossroads is when your life is getting ready to take a change, either for better or worse. Okay? The crossroads is what takes you from your caterpillar stage, and it transforms you from there to a butterfly. You say, where was the cocoon? The cocoon is the path in which you are taking to get to the crossroads. No one can put you in that cocoon but you. How most people will come to the realization that their religion is not true, and basically Christianity, because Christianity is one of the biggest religions that we know of here in America, okay, is when you try the word and the sentence and the book as best as you can, and you still fail, and you keep failing, and you start questioning. Once you start questioning, and it doesn't line up with your evolution, with your spirit strength, with your goals that you have personally, that tells you right there that something's wrong. Okay? It has nothing to do with it being true, because as I've discussed with my other videos, that in any book, in Steven Spielberg books, okay, and any other book that you might read, okay, there is going to be a bit of truth in every book that you read. That doesn't mean it's the word of God. For the people who have written the words in that book, Once upon a time were functional people upon the surface. That doesn't mean that the characters in the book was real. That means the writer of the book perhaps was real, to put that on paper. So they had a real life experience with what was around them, as in prophetic wisdom, not as in prophecy. Okay? So you got to get that straight. If that's the case, we all would live in a library. The library is full of information and full of sensible logic that makes sense. Okay? That doesn't mean that they are words of God. They are words of wisdom. There's a difference. So what happens is when a person is getting ready to develop their sense of self, you automatically get in the cocoon stage because you are questioning your religion. You are questioning, and the church says, thou shalt not question God. They don't want you to question. Why? Because they don't want you to evolve. Because there's 3 stages to yourself. You are the caterpillar, then you are the butterfly, right? But as you're the caterpillar, while you are going, you eventually go into your cocoon state and you stop. You stop because you are at your crossroads of question. You're like, wait a minute, I'm praying and God's not listening. You're like, I've been suffering, but I'm not getting right. I still got this heartache. I still got this problem. I still got this virus. So I still got this. I still got that. And my family's not healed and I'm still this. You start questioning. The teacher wants you to question. Your heavenly Father would want you to question. That's the point. If y'all know about Bruce Almighty, okay, and when Morgan Freeman was talking to Jim Carrey, okay, and they faced each other, and Morgan Freeman asked Jim Carrey at the time, he said, so what do you want for grace? And he began to blabber off something at first that of course Morgan Freeman, playing as God, knew that he was just putting on a funk and faking it. He said, no. What do you really, really want for grace? Okay. And that's when he got real and he really started asking the question and saying what he wanted in earnest. When you are honest with yourself and you are really sincere and you are done with your past life, you are fed up and you are really ready for an evolution. You're really ready to live your life. You're really tired of being in a sick situation. You're really tired of being broke down. You're really tired of being in bad conditions. You're really tired of being down and out. You're really tired of struggling. When you are done, when you are finished, you said, I had enough internally, and you are at your broken point. You can't sleep at night and you just drinking it. Oh, I just can't handle it. I just can't handle it. I'm going to church. My answers is not being fulfilled. What am I going to do about my situation? That's when the energy of your creator can come in, because that's how you end up in the right place. When the student appears, listen, the teacher, but when the student asks a question, the teacher appears. Let me say that right. When you ask a question in earnest, the teacher appears and says, that's what I want from you. Nobody can put you to that point but you being uncomfortable in your situation. When you are uncomfortable with the life that you used to live, when you are uncomfortable with the lies, when you are uncomfortable with the deceptions of your Bible or your religion, when you are uncomfortable with being in mental chains, when you are uncomfortable for not being the man and woman that you can be, and you're like, Lord, just let me go. And then the God that you might know of be like, aha, here I come. And then therefore you get in your cocoon, because now you're at your crossroads. The world is stopped. Okay? And then you'll start opening your eyes and your ears, not to a minister, because he's going to indoctrinate you and put this book in front of you and say, God said to listen to me because I'm God in God's footsteps. Don't go listen to somebody else talking about, God said, or you should do this, because don't listen to your grandma, grandpa, because that's their paradigm. You understand? They was born at a time where the awareness isn't as big as what it is now in America, while thousands of people are leaving religion by the day. Why? Because y'all are evolving and y'all getting smarter and y'all realizing the lie. So y'all are walking away from it, because not only does it make sense, because you're realizing what real love is, what real care is, and what it really means to live. So you're walking away from it. Okay? Your pastors and the other religions might say, oh, people are walking away from God. You're not walking away from God. You're walking away from the indoctrination camp. You're walking away from the lie to find the truth. You can't find the truth inside the lie. You have to get outside of the lie to observe the lie to find the truth. And therefore, you're at your crossroads. And while you are learning and discovering and figuring out yourself, the road becomes clear to you. Listen, the road becomes clear. Because first of all, you start healing from the lie. You start healing from church, from spending 10 years, 11 years, 13 years, 14 years, almost your whole life being lied to. Almost your whole life that your whole family was in, that your grandmother was in, that your mother was in, that you broke the last bond of slavery. The last bond of slavery is up here, my American family. It's up here. It's holding on to a sky daddy that never existed. That's why you've never evolved. But while you're at that crossroad, you begin to evolve. Some of you have begun to evolve already. Some of you have already broke the cocoon and you're a butterfly, and you sitting back listening to this like, yep, you're right about that. I was there. Now let me tell you what happens at this crossroads. It's two devastating things that happen, but it happens nonetheless if you open up your ears and you watch the news sometime. You either become the man and woman that God really wanted you to be by scooting that religion aside and your wings just foo. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't know it was like this. And you would never look back twice. And then you begin to study, and you should, I recommend, study what you came out of. That way you know you're making the right decision. Because some people just do it just because they're mad. Some people get out of religion because there was gossip there. Some people get out of religion because, their family forced them to take them there. So they're like, oh, I don't want to be in that religion anymore. No. Okay. You got to study why you're getting out of it. Okay. And another thing, you can't find God or spirituality in religion. Spirituality and religion are two different things. Okay. Spirituality is your inner man and yourself that already exist. Religion is a group of congregation of people who believe in one way or one thing. Anything could be a religion. Okay? Religion is just an ideology for a group of people. Spirituality is something totally different altogether. You can't find God in that because it's a religion. And with this religion, listen, religion is always a boundary block that keeps your spirit combined where it cannot fly. Okay? So when you start questioning, you conflicting, that's because you're in your shell. You're in that cocoon. You're trying to fly, and your wings keep hitting the ceiling. You can't move. You're trying to go, and you're questioning. You're like, wait a minute, I don't understand. This don't make sense. But yet you're. And some people, listen. Some people, they get so diligent, they stay in with it for the rest of their lives because that's just a sign that it may step on some toes. But I told you, this ain't your channel. You can look at something else. I tell the truth here with this red pill that you shouldn't be eating. Let me go ahead and give you another one if you don't comprehend. Okay, some people who have not taken authority over their own soul and spirit, they will sit there in religion and in church religiously, Sunday after Sunday, day after day, and let somebody tell them what to do with their life and what they should do. That's because somewhere in here, something's gone. Okay? That means they took their soul and say, here you go. I don't want to think for myself. Tell me who I am. Tell me what to do with my soul. Even though God gave me free will, I want you to usurp it with what you tell me what to do. Or even though God gave me free will in life as a baby, you can go ahead and call me a sinner. Although I don't really know what sin is. Yeah. There's people who do that, okay? And then there are those who are like, wait a minute, I'm a sinner. Like, what? What are you talking about? I'm wrong for what? For existing? But yet, God brought me into existence, but I'm wrong for existing. As if I had a choice. Now, there's another person at the crossroad that we need to talk about. Is why I'm speaking to you like this. My emailers who asked me this question. Now, this is when I kick this video and this conversation in the next gear. Okay? That's why I gave you that red pill already so it can sink in. You have one person who's been grown up in the church who gets tired of the lie, and they evolve and they break that last bondage of that last bond of slavery, and they evolve to be the God that God wanted them to be. Okay? The second person is the one who did not grow up in the church, who was outside of the church the whole time and didn't know that they were really having freedom. Okay? And when they get to their crossroads, when they get tired of whatever life that they have, okay, what do they find? They find religion. And then they say, oh, God saved me because I was just out there in the world, and man, I was just drinking. Man, I was just wild. I was out of my mind. But then I stepped into this church, man. I felt the Spirit of God, and God changed me, man. Listen, most people are always looking for identity. The frailty of the average human person psychologically always look for a place to belong. Always look for substance to give their life purpose. So when we meet that crossroads, because most of us are just simple human beings, okay, and cannot think anything higher than the earthly plane and this dimension that we are in, okay, the only outs most times, listen, the only outs is usually just a religion or church, or God or no God, or haba 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 haba. It's usually nothing else. Okay. Now there are some other things, but we're not going to get to that in this channel. Okay. I'm just keeping it simple. All right. So what they say is, my dear pastor and other 4 emailers, is this: because they live their life in such a way of non-activeness in the church or religion, they have avoided religion and church the whole time. So they go out and they do whatever that they want to do or need to do, or become active in the outside world of the church. So they begin just like the one who's in the church, who was a snail or a caterpillar to try to get into the cocoon. That's the same with them, whereas they start questioning themselves. They get into this cocoon, they get to a crossroads with their life, so they feel like they're not doing right and they don't understand what's going on. They've been in a hospital several times. They get into bad gang situations, or they're very detrimental, or they're a menace to their society. So they feel like they have to calm themselves down. They feel like they have to change their curriculum, otherwise they're going to drive themselves to an early grave. So then they'll go to the church. Okay, they meet that crossroads, and then they think, listen, they think they find Jesus there. No, they actually think Jester was standing by the door saying, I was waiting on you, come on. Like, this, it's not that they find Jester. They find an option. They find a door that's just about the only door available most times for the common human man, because there's no other door for him or her. Because we've been taught as American people since we were kids that we were what? Sinners, that we weren't nobody, that we had to be somebody, we had to grow up and go to college and do something. We try to date girls who look at us like we're peons because we don't have enough money, we don't have no muscles or nothing, so we still feel like we're like this. And from some girls who feel like they're not enough, they're not cute enough, nobody wants to talk to them, they're always in the back of the room, they're quiet, they're too shy. We're taught that. We're taught that. It's a programming. Listen to what Morpheus is telling you. It's a programming. So when you got this, listen, it started a long time ago, before you even got into religion, before you went down that path of saying, oh, I need to go to the crossroads. Something happened in the beginning when you was a child, based on the programming of the American system, or the indoctrinations that are around you. Television, movies, guys need to make a whole lot of money and be popular and be all pizzazz to be able to get the girl's attention. And then, of course, in reverse, this girl feeling like she got to have, wide hips and certain breast size and have certain hair color and certain skin tone in order to be attractive, or be in a certain culture, or whatever case may be. Then, she feels like that's her idea of identity. Listen, that's her field of identity. So what happens is they start walking down that path, not knowing they've already been bit by the lion snake. The snake wasn't some invincible devil. It was the environment. It was the energy. It was the groups of people who in themselves are ignorant, who creates this nonsense on movies and cartoons. Sometimes it's in your food. Sometimes it's on your movies. It's in music, because it programs your mind to thinking, oh, I need to make something out of myself. I need to do something with myself. I need to be somebody. Listen to what Morpheus is saying. I need to be somebody. I need to do something. So you end up living your whole life trying to find your identity, and sometimes failing to find the identity that the environment have programmed you to find. And then when you don't reach that point, or even if you get past that point, you are left with your own 2 feet. What that means is this: we are led to believe that we are this insignificant ant in the eyes of other people. I'm gonna have to take this call. I'll be right back. I'm gonna make another video on this one. Now, getting back to what we're talking about. As long as you continue to feel as if you are an insignificant ant in the eyes of the world, then you will always need somebody to guide you. You will always need somebody to tell you what to do. You will always need somebody to get the approval from, to be able to make whatever decisions that you need to make. The idea was to stack up all these other individuals, all these other people who have climbed up the corporate scale, who have climbed up the scale to give themselves titles, or the authority over you, or the authority to tell you who you are. Okay? Because you are all the way down here where you are trying to look for identity and a sense of self-empowerment when you are already significant. I told you in my other videos, you are already precious. You already have the ability to do and to be somebody great. You are already a very fascinating and a very, we're going to have to consider magnificent work of art when you were born. But the program was to put church all the way over here, was to put the crossroad all the way over here, because most people who have come before you already knew psychology. The people that have come before you already knew what the crossroads was going to be like. People that have come before you have seen so many people come and go. So they knew that eventually, as a child, that the average human being, usually you already have the intelligence that you need because you have instincts. Okay? And as I told you in my other video, your instincts are pilfered and they are distracted and manipulated by the intelligence of the indoctrination systems. Okay? So since they already know that the crossroads is going to come for a lot of us, some people call it, they have this thing called midlife crisis. Okay, they try to come up with a midlife crisis for some people. Then they try to say that women are going to have to cross these. I guess they have their own set of midlife crises, but they already know that you're going to come across some roads in your life. They're going to be cross barriers where you're going to have to make dramatic decisions and vital decisions. So what they have done to you, my American family, now you're getting the seed. Now you're getting the red pill. What they have done was purposely beat you down as a child, because they already pre-planned that all the way over here is going to be a crossroad. So before you get all the way to the crossroad, there's going to be a church up there waiting for you. That's why there's a church in every corner. That's why there's a church in every city. That's why there's a mega church in every city, because you got all these sheep, okay, who can't think for themselves because all of them was deceived right here when they was a child. So therefore, now you are developing to be yourself and you're getting confused. You're trying to figure out life, and you see all these BET awards. You want to be up there too, right? You see all these famous people making all this money, right? You see all this prosperity that you can have. All these basketball players that are, they're dunking and they dribbling. You want to be just like them, right? See all these football players. You want to be as popular as them, right? And you see all the girls chasing after them and see them with all their nice cars, Lamborghinis and Ferrari. You're like, dang, man, I want to be like that, man. Like, yeah, man. So you're constantly working towards that. And of course, you got the church people on the other side talking about, oh, you're going to get that next lifetime. Like you're going to be driving a Lamborghini in heaven. That's like resilient. I mean, you're going to have a mansion in heaven made out of gold. Like, then there's a passage in the Bible talking about gold is a sense of vanity. Like, just anyway, I ain't even gonna get on that. I'm not even gonna douse what some of y'all believe in. It's just y'all need to really sit down and maybe need to smoke something. Anyway, I know Morpheus didn't say that. Okay, but the thing is, so you keep looking for identity and you getting sidetracked, by all these malignant systems, all this malicious intent from the outside world to tell you to be somebody. You got people talking about, oh, go to college, graduate from college, be successful, and ground yourself, and go in there and get the highest grades, get the highest recognition, get the highest awards, and do the best that you can do. So you're constantly this little bitty ant thinking that you got to be something according to the public or the society's standards. Okay, so now now you get to that point, and when you do get to that point, okay, it still ain't enough because it was a misconception. You found out it was a lie. You found out it wasn't so great as you thought it was, because now you really popping pills. Now you really drinking because you took so much of your life just to get that success. And now that you have that success, or whatever you think success may be, okay, now you got to live that fictitious lifestyle that really isn't really you, according to one of my other videos, because now it's not really who you are. Okay, now you got to live the scheme of a society in order for you to survive. But now you're outside of your personal identity, because your identity was already within yourself, which was that soul that's been manipulated when you was a child, when they say grow up and be something, when you're already somebody. As a child, you were already somebody special. They just didn't want you to tell. They didn't want to tell you that. The whole idea was to deceive you, as I always say, to corral you, just like cows and cattle, okay, to one area, so you can go to that point where you get to the crossroads, okay, after getting the cocoon, because you get tired of that lifestyle, because you realize it wasn't a lifestyle for you. Then you commit yourself to an insane asylum. No, I'm joking. You commit yourself to a church, okay, and then finally, again, that's so you can say, oh, I met Jesus there. Jesus changed my life. And all it is another deception and a misconception, okay, and a detour, okay, against you trying to get somewhere else, because it's just like playing chess. The enemy knew that you was going to try to get there. The enemy knew that you all are already automatic Einsteins, that you're already smart people, that you are already the gods of the world. Okay, so they said, okay, let me put that up there to keep them from evolving to the butterfly state. So therefore, here comes the crossroad. Okay, and the crossroad is when you are deciding for yourself. Both of you, the one who's in church, who's in a cocoon form, getting ready to get out of the church or the religion to live their life. And then here comes the other guy who was out here in the outside world, as they call it, okay, which you just really living your natural life, who's tired of that life, tired of that rush lifestyle, that dangerous lifestyle, or that disturbing lifestyle, okay, and they meet themselves at the crossroad. Now we're getting to the facts here. Both of you have something in common. You say, what is it, Morpheus? I'll give both of y'all red pills. I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay? It's the lack of self-confidence that you are the living being that you are supposed to be. That it's you that's actually doing the dial of what you are doing wrong and right. Okay? The people who go into the crossroads and accept the religious beliefs and accept the words that was written down in the Bible and call it God, okay, are those who are needing guidance because they have neglected themselves. Because the whole game to begin with was to keep you in low confidence thinking, where when you're living your life, okay, where you cease to make demands for yourself, you cease to be the man or the woman or the boss of your soul by the system's programming, and thinking that your change come when you give the keys to your soul to somebody else to misguide you. I had a conversation with he wasn't a young man, but he was a dude at the time. He was just, an older guy. And check this out. Now, I know a lot of you, this might ring a bell, and it has a lot to do with a lot of our situations. Like if we overdrink or we take drugs or we have this topsy-turvy lifestyle of habits where we are destroying ourselves, and we think that this hill is the burning bush situation where God's talking to the bush, to us. Oh, get your life right. Okay, let me help you out. This man was a raging alcoholic, or you could say just an alcoholic. And we sat down at a table one time and had a conversation. And he was a bald guy, okay? And he had like a little scar up here on his head, because I asked him, where'd he get it from? And he began to talk about God, like God, God saved, God, blah, blah, blah. And before he got there, he said, man, one day I was drinking. I knew I was drunk. I shouldn't have been driving. And I got in my truck, man, and I almost killed myself, man. I got in my truck and I tipped the truck over. and I blacked out and I woke up. I was in the hospital. He said, man, God saved my life, man. And ever since then, I went to church, man. Ever since I was, man, I turned my life over to God. I turned my life over to God. And I'm not the same since, man. I'm not the same. And at the time, I didn't have any question for it. Remember, mind you, Morpheus was in study mode. I'm always in study mode. I'm always just thinking like, I'm always thinking, and I'm absorbing the information so I can give it to you, my people. Let me break that situation down for you. Now, this is for my adult spiritual people. This is for those who have their butterfly wings already, and they're what they're supposed to be. This ain't for you who are caterpillars, because you won't understand. Okay? This ain't for you who's at the crossroads and you're in your cocoon state and you're still standing there like this. Should I go or should I not? Okay, this ain't for you. This is for those who sit there and think like this. This is for you. Okay? Let's break it down. Life wakes people up. It's not God. God is everything in nature. God was people on the advertising commercial that told you that to drink responsibly. God was the police officers that told you by action most times on television or on the news about other people drinking and driving and what happens to them and they hurt themselves, okay, and something happens. Reality in life tells you that if you put your face on a hot stove, okay, you're going to burn the side of your face. That's not God, okay? That's nature. Just because you survived something, that does not mean you need to credit it to what you may perceive to be God. Yes, you could say God is merciful, but we would definitely get into an argument that we're not going to get on today, where there are thousands upon millions of people who have been in the same situation and who was snuffed out. And I could hear people now saying, where was the grace of God then? Okay? And some people may say that he just got lucky. All right? No, it was life teaching him a lesson what not to do. Simple as that. That doesn't mean that he needed to turn. You can't turn your life over to something that already has your life. Your creator, God has already created you. You're already here. Who are you turning your life over to? No, that expression, when you break it down to realistic terms, meaning you're giving the control of your soul to somebody who's not you, where they misdirect you, where all you got to do is just sit back and let them decide through indoctrination and books what you're going to do on the crossroads. So therefore, if you follow my other video, what happens to you when you die, because you have gave the contract to your soul to these, I'm not going to say no names in this channel, people, Agent Smiths, okay? They will have a piece of you when you pass away, because you are the author and the finisher of your soul. Don't even go there talking about the author and God is the author and the finisher of my faith. Ladies and gentlemen, do the details on what's faith. Go research faith up in the doctrine. Research what faith means in the Bible. Don't go to the Webster's dictionary, because you might get a different Go to the Bible and let them tell you what faith is. When you say, oh, God is the author and the finisher of my faith, then you will automatically realize something's wrong with the thinking of those people who continue to say that scripture. Okay? Because you're actually saying, here's my neck, Lord. Here's the rope, and you can take my soul wherever you want it to be. Okay? Even Lord and God, again, is an expression of historical entitlement based on its misconception as it is used today. Okay? Because do you really call your dad Lord? I know I talked about this in another video because some of y'all forget. Imagine you walking up to your daddy and saying, I love you, Lord. It wouldn't make sense, would it? Or, I love you, God. No, it will be Father. If it was so realistic, how come that's not in there? Instead of saying Lord and God in your Bible, wouldn't it be Father all the way through? Morpheus? I think you're on to something. But anyway, look. So the ideal of it is when you are in your cocoon, let's get back to the story here, the teaching. When you are in your cocoon, you are supposed to take the reins of the horse that time and be the man and woman that you always was and elevate yourself by chasing your dreams and making your dreams happen. Whatever it might be, by exposing your heart and your soul and opening up and being the butterfly that you are. Okay? That's true confidence, and that's the idea why you're at the crossroads. Okay? But a lot of people fail that. Why people are still in the churches, why people still need religion, is because they still got that programming in their head from what happened to them as a child. They was probably grown up in this religion. They was grown up around that church. They never left their house. They never studied the world. They never studied any other religion. They never even looked in the mirror to think about, hey, what do I want for me? They never really thought that. They will say, what do God want from me? Or, oh, Lord willing. Or they say something, well, I'll pray about it. Let's pray about it. Let's pray about it. Yeah. Pray. Yeah. But the thing is, once you eliminate all that, once you get a chance to you get past the Agent Smith, you get past these lies, and you do become the butterfly. What transformed you to the butterfly? First of all, if y'all got past this stage in the video, and you completely understand what I'm saying, especially for you, my emailers, if you got past this, okay, and you're like this, I understand, I get that, okay? That means spiritually you are already a butterfly. That means you are already evolving. That means you are looking for better heights. That means you are ready for the next level of your life. The next level that God or your creator already has for you. Your all-maker had, and then all you got to do is walk that path and don't let the lies hold you back, because from here on out, as a butterfly, you're going to always question the religion. You're going to question what people throw at you. You're going to think twice. You're going to be like, wait a minute, let me think about that for a minute. You see that? You're going to be, no, I'm not going to buy that. I don't want that, because of what the society want from you. That's the whole, get this. The society don't want you to be the butterfly because they don't want you to question the poison that's being injected into your world. They want you to be a church zombie where you walking around like, I gotta get up Sunday morning. I guess I got to. If I don't, I'm gonna be a sinner. They want you because you're gonna be led as a sheep to the slaughter. So all your knowledge and your ability to be the Hercules that you are the Shira that you really are. Once you get into church, or these crossroads, or these indoctrinating systems, they will shave your hair off like Samson, okay, and make you nothing. So that way they can turn all your energy, they can turn all your knowledge, listen to me, they can turn all your money that you have in your pocket, That's why they come up with all these commercials and stores and everything. They can turn all your proceeds, all your ideas that you may ever have for yourself, because you're in the religion system, they can transform it into money. Not for you, for them. Think about that. The crossroads is a jumping stone from you to jump there to become a butterfly. Not for you to go into your cocoon and fall into the ditch of the crossroads, because you go nowhere from there. And then it's death. Because it's death of your soul. Do not turn the keys to your soul over to any indoctrination. You guide yourself. Morpheus and you, and to my emailers that gave me this message to give to you all, in order to make America better, in order for us to change this negative system around, in order for us to take the values that we used to have and make it better, so we can really be a super people, so we can really bring family back together, take care of these kids, and take that black future and wipe it clean and make a new future for them, that they have true substance and true value, that they have what the real definition of what virtue, family, love, marriage, and unity is really all about. In order to do that, we have to break our shell down first and get rid of these misconceptions and these lies, these evil manipulations, and these chains that are on our mind, and open up our senses to reality, and be the men and women that we are supposed to have evolved into by today in this generation. That is the only way the future generation and children are going to survive, because we're following them, which is backwards, and trying to find the newest thing, trying to find the latest development, trying to find this because we're bored with the life that we have. We need to reverse that and put the kids behind us, as we are supposed to be the adults, as the fathers, the leaders, and the elders, to guide these children back in the proper direction, because we are going downhill if we don't do that. It starts from our false indoctrination. It starts when we was a seed thinking, oh, we're not nobody because we're not rich. We're not nobody because we're not black, or we're not white, or we're not Mexican, or we're not Asian, or we don't own this, or we don't have that, so I'm nobody because I drive a beat up Honda. We're nobody because, I just don't have it because no. You need to know that you are somebody, and that you do have great potential, and that you are the pinnacle of what life has to offer. It's life has to be obedient to you. You don't have to be obedient to life. I always tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this again in this video. You don't shine for the sun shines for you. If y'all start getting to that point and tearing religion apart and say, man, I ain't got time for that. I think for myself. When you start thinking for yourself and applying yourself to your dreams and your aspirations, while you got the chance to now, above the grave, you understand, then all other great things will follow behind you. And no system or indoctrination can lie to you. If you are free forever. So you got to understand, it's deeper than religion. Religion is only one pawn to get in your way. There's a whole lot of other pawns there that was already in place before you was even a teenager. But you will start realizing what those pawns are the more you think for yourself, and things aren't lining up. If you don't line up, that means it's meant to deter you, to sit you somewhere else. So you got to make drastic decisions. Either you swim in the pond and die, or you grow your wings like you were supposed to, and you fly over the BS. That is my answer. And I know you love the red pill. This is Leon C. Like it, share it, subscribe it. You got my information down at the bottom. This will not be the last. Whatever I can find to make you strong, to make you the Neo that I know that you are, I will always have faith in you and know that you can. As long as I keep giving you this red pill.